I'm very much a novice. I'm not a professional flute player. I'm a student. You may have seen my previous video about my background and how I've come to be relearning the flute. So I'm going to see if I can come up with a few tips that you might find useful as a beginner. The first one is be patient with yourself. It will take a considerable amount of practice and time to produce sounds that you want to achieve with your flute, tone-wise, and to get your fingers and mouth all working to benefit your playing. I would recommend that you source a tutor if you can afford one, and make sure that your tutor is someone that you have got a good rapport with. A long time ago, I used to play the clarinet, but I had two teachers that I didn't get on well with. There was nothing wrong with them, and there was nothing wrong with me or my attitude. It was just that the two of us together, the dynamic we produced, wasn't inspiring for me. So my initial interest in that instrument waned and resulted in me not playing anymore. And with my flute teacher that I had years and years ago, he was inspiring and motivating and made me really hunger to do well. And I'm really lucky that my current flute teacher is equally awesome. She inspires me. She makes me want to practice. She's encouraging. She delivers her feedback in a way where I don't feel like I'm rubbish at what I'm doing. I feel like, yeah, I see that I was making that error and I'm going to work on what you suggested. I want to do well for myself and I want to do well for my teacher. And if you're not able to afford a teacher, then I would recommend Googling online flute tutorials for beginners. I'm sure that there are thousands of videos. I'm not in any position to do that for you, but there are lots of very experienced professional flute players who can help you out in that regard, and there's lots of resources to read. In fact, I encounter them and I read and interact with them too. The next thing that I would recommend is getting some books on flute technique. I can only recommend one person at this point because it's the name that I hear repeated pretty much from everybody. It's Trevor Y. I should have got this out earlier, but I'm just going to lean over and get it. The text might be backwards, what with it being me showing it to you. It's called The Practice Book for the Flute, books 1 to 6. You can get them individually or you can get them all together, and the book is this nice and backwards for you. Can you read backwards? But you can. I am working very slowly through that book. Please avoid being intimidated by any of the notes and the manuscripts in there, because sometimes when you look at music that is above your skill level, it's off-putting because you think, oh, well, I'm never going to be able to play that. I can't read that. Look at the key signature. Look at the time signature. Relax. When you're ready to access those particular technique lessons, it will be in your stride. So just start right at the beginning. Read the text as well. And the other one is Trevor Y's Beginner's Book for the Flute. He's got part 1 and part 2, and I've got part 2, which looks like this. Again, backwards reading for you. And I can't recommend those two resources enough. They come with a CD, so they've got like a backing track that you can hear examples of some of the exercises and then you can play. And they've got accompaniment when you need that. So those are the things that I really recommend for a beginner flute player. You do need to put the time in because you'll build that muscle memory. Take it steady, be kind to yourself. Can you commit to between 30 minutes and an hour a day to practice? If you're older like me and you've got children, or maybe you've got a demanding job, it's harder to find that time to practice. But perhaps you can schedule something in your diary so that you have that you time and really enjoy the journey, and maybe try and record yourself. So in a month's time, or 3 months, 6 months' time, a year's time, you can look back and have access to the journey that you have made and the progress you have made, so you will feel proud of yourself. So that's it. Tips for beginners.